oiling, then we'll need your help. Please stay. Yeah, very nice. And by the way, just to say that traditionally that females would never worship a Saligram, actually. And you can see how open-minded Guruji is. That for him, everyone to come offer to the Saligrams, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Guruji breaks so many rules because he actually sees the supreme reality. He's like, are you ultimately a man or a woman? No. You are a soul. And so that Guruji is actually, there's many rules Guruji breaks for us, but that's one of them. And also, by the way, yesterday he's the one who suggested, have them go have darshan of all the Saligrams. That means that all of these people, if they, no matter who they are, no matter what their background is, no matter if they're vegetarian or not, or anything, they were able to walk around the altar. This is unheard of in Hindu temples. It is unheard of that we can be so close to the Murtis. It is so beautiful that people could do prana pratishta. People could do parikrama around Pariniti Narasimha is crazy. You can see how open Guruji is. And how open Pariniti Narasimha is. Because if Pariniti Narasimha didn't want people to come close to him, Guruji wouldn't allow it. But of course, Pariniti Narasimha, he is a Gauda Veera. He's the most powerful one and the most sweet one. And so he wants to be with all of the people that he loves, He didn't transverse the cosmos to be far away from us. No, he came, from beyond the universe to be close to everybody. So anyways, when there's 108, okay, so if you're a Prabhu, please go listen to Nishkala and he will direct you. Wow, I'm so happy that you guys are here. It's the greatest thing is to share the grace. It is even better than receiving the grace. Because you can see how happy the Lord is. Yes, but I just want to say one thing, guys. Please be very careful. Okay? Please. We're like my babies. And we should do, if you'd like to go up on the altar and start. And please also feel free to paint the tilaks on Pariniti Narasimha. Please. Next. What were we talking about? Saligrams. Yes. So there was a reason why Pariniti Narasimha, he's holding 108 Saligrams. You can see right before Rishiji closes the curtain. You see the garland there, the beads, the mala. There's a reason why also Swami Venkatacharyalu, he has a mala around their Murti, Sri Venkateshwara in Pittsburgh. That's 108 malas. And the reason is, 108 Saligram mala, is because in the Shastra it says that when there's a place where there's 108 Saligrams, it is called Vaikuntha Divya Sangraham. This means by the collection of 108 Saligrams, the light of Vaikuntha manifests. That means literally Vaikuntha is there with just 108 Saligrams. I do not know what it means for 3,000 Saligrams. For each Saligram, it is said in the Shastra that the grace goes for 27 kilometers. And so with every Saligram more, it's exponentially more powerful, exponentially more potent. When we first moved here, Nish can attest to this, Elmira was super haunted, like really haunted. We would, especially at night, we'd walk around and you'd feel people looking at you. But there'd be nobody around. It was weird. But now it's completely different. Completely different. Even we were here just 1 year, and the local newspaper made an article saying how the violence and the crime in Elmira have dropped for the first time in decades in that year. And as a joke, we sent it to Guruji. And we're like, haha, that's funny, you know. And we didn't think anything of it, but what was Guruji's answer? Jai Shri Narshingadev. Because by the grace of, we worship all of the Saligrams as Narshingadev. So by the grace of Paraniti Narshingadev, by the grace of all the Saligrams, the negativity, the tamas and the rajas is being pushed away. And that's why you enter this temple. It feels different, isn't it? The atmosphere is so pure because constantly they're putting away the negativity, constantly, so that only positivity can be there. And so for this entire area, it is said also if you die within 27 kilometers of a Saligram, you're automatically liberated. Now, if it was that easy, that'd be great.
Everywhere.
But it is very true that the grace is flowing to all of these souls in this area. And since, where was it? Oh, I was in, when we first got here, after a few months, we'd go traveling, and I would come back, and it was like around, like just these couple blocks, you could feel like this barrier, like you're walking into something pure. You're walking into another dimension. And then as time went by, this dome of divine energy started to grow and grow and grow. But it went only maybe a couple miles maximum. And whenever we would drive in, no matter what we were doing, we were just talking or something, all of a sudden everyone in the car would go, oh, we're home. You could feel it as you would enter this dome. But a couple weeks ago, I was in LA with Swami Sridhar, helping prepare the Prana Pratishtha, which will happen in a few days there. And as we're coming back, we were on the other side of Elmira, and as we entered Elmira, miles and miles and miles away, at the beginning of Church Street, immediately we could already feel the grace of Paraniti Narshingadev, the grace of this temple, the grace of all of these Saligrams. It is incredible, the potency of this temple, and it is because Paraniti Narshingadev, the Murti manifested by Gurudev, it is because of these 3,000 Saligrams, it is because of the millions and millions and millions of Likita that is directly underneath Paraniti Narshingadev. And it is, of course, because of all of your love. Whenever the bhaktas come and chant the Lord's name, the temple becomes stronger. So thank you very much. So to be in the presence of the Abhishekam, of the Saligrams, and to participate, that you wash the Saligrams, is an incomprehensible blessing. Because when we do Abhishekam, it is not, I'm sorry, is this boring?
No.
It's a genuine question.
No.
You don't have to tell me, just like, Swami, honestly, we've heard you speak for hours these last days. You can shut up. It's okay, you can say it. It's fine. I won't be offended. I would say fair enough.
As long as you are not tired, we're okay.
Oh, that's so sweet. God bless you. Oh, that's nice. Okay. You can hear it in my voice, huh? See, actually last night, I was dead asleep, and all of a sudden I wake up, and Swami Janani had texted, because her flight got messed up. She's supposed to fly out with us in Elmira, yeah? But this was not Swami's fault. It was my fault. Because Swami Chidananda, he had to change his flight to JFK, and I gave Swami Chidananda her confirmation code, and so like all of a sudden, wrong tickets are switched, and I had to call Delta, and I was on the phone for like an hour. Anyways, so it's all sorted, don't worry. I was worried about you, Swami. Well, I mean, not so worried. I mean, the worst thing is you just live here, it's fine. But I want to make sure you can hear me. Okay. when we do Abhishekam, you see, it's not just that we are, oh, this is nice. We're washing the stones, oh, we're washing the murtis, it's nice. Of course it is, it's beautiful, but it is much more than that, actually. Because when we worship the Lord, it is a mystical language that the soul and Bhagavan, the Jiva and the Lord, understand this language. Think of it like sign language. If you know what is being said, you can understand. Do we need to know that mystical language mentally? What is happening in the Abhishekam or the puja? The answer is absolutely no. But it is good to know what is happening because then we can appreciate a little bit more. So, guys, you know the Krishna Das? You know the big saligrams on the bottom? Yeah, it's good to do those somehow first because those are going to fill out soon because of the waterfall. Be careful, one of them is like 27 kilos. Yeah, good. Nice. For example, let's talk a little bit about the puja and what's happening. In all of us out here, even though we're not participating right now, we are participating in spirit. The Lord did not come just for the pujaris, no. It's all happening. And when the kirtan starts again, that is worship. If there was no kirtan, no bhajan, no chanting, then actually the prayer is incomplete. These two sections of the pujari and the kirtanyas are equally important. That you see that every time that Guruji does puja, there's always kirtan happening. There's always chanting happening because they are equally important. They're like your left hand and right hand. They work together equally. That is what pleases the Lord. If one without the other, it's not complete. So by you doing kirtan, you are helping the pujaris. And while, putting the pujaris in a good mood, in the right bhava, putting the Lord in a good mood, putting the Lord in the right bhava, and while then washing them, all of this mystical stuff is also happening. Okay? So, for example, when we do puja, here's some things that are happening. When we offer the water, we are rinsing away all of the negativity around our soul. All the negativity in our mind, all the negativity, the karmas that are bound to us for many, many lifetimes. Because the Lord, in the form of the murti, in the form of the Saligram, is equally present in you as Antaryami. And so as we are washing him outside, we are washing him inside, you see. As we are pleasing him outside, we are pleasing him inside. We are not saints. Well, maybe you are. I'm not. I hope you are. If you are, please bless me. As I am not a saint, my mind is externally oriented. And so the Lord is merciful and he says, well, Tulsidasi, you're an idiot, it's fine. I will take form outside. So that when you worship me outside, I will manifest more and more inside. Now, a saint doesn't need to do external puja because they know the Lord inside of themselves. Okay? But they often still do. Why? Because they see Lord everywhere and they love him everywhere. So when you were washing the saligrams, you were washing away lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes of karma. To worship 3,000 saligrams is incomprehensible. These priests that came, when they were leaving, I asked, are they happy? And literally with tears in their eyes, they said, we've been speaking, and we all agree, we incarnated for this temple to do this prayer. And understand that the Swami Venkatacharyalu, he is considered a guru to all of these, to the Sri Sampradaya in America and Canada. He is Guru. That he did prana pratishtha with, and he was the main priest of 300 priests in North Carolina. And they did 1,000 kalashas. What he did here is nothing. Such low level prayer for him, practically speaking. And normally with such a sized temple, he would send his assistants. No, they can take care. Like Guruji will send us to do something sometimes, right? It's fine, you can take care. But when he saw all these saligrams, he said, no, we will do it. He said, I will do it. And he changed his schedule to be here because he understood the power, the grace to be in the presence of so many saligrams. And with tears in their eyes, they all said, we feel we incarnated for this temple. All of our previous prayers, all the previous prana pratishtas, which is called Mahapuja. It is the greatest puja that one can ever participate in, is prana pratishta. All of that grace led them to be here, to be with the saligrams, to be with Narsinghadev, to be with all of the bhaktas, which they were so blown away by. They were like, the bhaktas here are incredible, and Gurudev. I mean, they absolutely fell in love with Gurudev. The first day they were a bit like, who is this guy? But by the end, they were like, Gurudev, Gurudev. Materializing the names and stuff, and they're like, it was amazing. It was so cute. After the prayers, I saw them, and I was like, oh, how are you? And they all ran up there, like, look, Gurudev, Gurudev made, look. Oh, that's so nice. It was amazing. Oh my God. And they gave the greatest compliment to Guruji, to all of the bhaktas, and to this temple. And this compliment was, even if our prayer is wrong, even if we make mistake, Lord still comes. Now let me explain why this is the greatest compliment that these priests could ever give. Because from their perspective, the Lord is supreme, and to have him come, your prayer must be perfect. Mantra perfect, Kriya perfect, Bhakti perfect. Only then the Lord comes. If it's not perfect, even one syllable is wrong, the Lord won't come. Why should he? This is our effort. We love him so much, we better make sure that everything is perfect. If that sounds weird to you, that's not what Guruji says. Guruji says the Lord comes only because of bhakti. Now they believe that too, but they say only saints can have such bhakti. So they don't even think about it. They never rely on bhakti because they're like, look, we don't have bhakti. And so for them to say that even if the puja is wrong, even if they make mistake, the Lord will still come. They were commenting on the bhakti of Guruji and the bhakti of all of his devotees. They're like, all of your bhakti is so great, you do not need us. It is our honor to be here with you. Wild, right? That is wild. The greatest compliment they could ever have given. And of course, a lot of that was because of the 2,500 saligrams that we had at that time. 4 months later, we have like 500 more. Wild. So when you offered the water to the saligrams, karma of lifetimes, lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes were washed away in such a deep way that you might be completely unaware. But that is the grace of being able to wash all the saligrams. When we offer the panchamrit, this is, pancha means 5, so it's the milk, yogurt, ghee, honey, sugar. These are symbolic of the 5 elements. And when we offer the panchamrit, the 5 elements to the Lord, we asked him, please purify the material nature in this area and in all of us. Because the material nature is made of the 5 elements. Our ignorance is made of the 5 elements. The pancha prana, the 5 energies that create this universe. That's what bind us to Prakriti is the 5 elements. And so when we offer the Panchamrit, we're asking for all of us and this entire area that the 5 elements, that Prakriti is completely purified and only the Lord exists. And it's the same when we'll offer the food later with the prasadam. The prasadam is not normal. When I've seen many times where, because especially if you live near a temple, the prasad, it becomes normal. So in SPN, there would be cups of the Panchamrit just sort of sitting there all day. And of course, back then we used, milk and yogurt from cows and ghee. And now it's vegan. So, in the middle of the summer, by 3 p.m., it's not good. It's rancid. And I would watch Guruji not once, not twice, but more times than I can remember, go down to the temple, see that it's still sitting there, and he would himself lick out every little drop of that rancid Panchamrit. Because it is prasadam. It comes from the Lord. Now, what does that mean? Or there would be little crumbs of the prasad, the food left, and Guruji would eat every little crumb and make sure. There's a story of that Narada Muni, he very much wanted some prasadam from the Lord. So he went to Vaikuntha, and the Lord was there, and they're talking. The Lord said, well, what can I do for you? He said, well, I would like your prasad. Now, normally, Lakshmi receives the prasadam as the wife. But the Lord, he gives his heart to the bhaktas. So he says, yes, absolutely. And he gives all of the food to Narada Muni. Now, Lakshmi is upset. She says, what is this? And there's a little bit of one piece of crumb left on the plate. So she takes that, she's happy. Narada Muni, he goes into ecstasy while he's eating the prasadam. And he goes to Brahmalok. And Brahmalok says, well, why are you such in a good mood? Because Brahma is his father. He said, this is prasadam of the Lord. And he says, you're eating prasad of the Lord in front of me and you don't offer to me? He said, I'm sorry. And he gives prasad to Brahma. Gives prasad to Saraswati. Then he's in ecstasy. And he goes to Mount Kailash. And the ecstasy of Narada Muni wakes Mahadev up out of his meditation. He says, Narada Muni, such a blessing to see you. Why are you in this state? And he said, I have prasadam of the Lord. And Mahadev gets so excited. He says, please share with me. And he gives to Mahadev. Then he gives to Muruga. He gives to Ganesha. And then everyone is dancing in ecstasy. And Parvati comes walking around the corner and she sees her family in ecstasy. She says, what is happening? But there's no prasadam left. No prasadam left. And she says, why are you in ecstasy? And they all say, we've had prasad of the Lord. And she says, amazing, give me some. And there's none left. And she was so angry. She was so upset. She is the mother of the universe. But she understood the greatness of prasad. And out of her anger, she lost the memory that she is the mother, and she started to take in all of the air, all of the prana back into her. And the people and the animals throughout the universe were suffocating. And they were praying to her, please come down, please come down. And she said, no, why should I? You've come all this way. You're dancing like smug jerks, we'll say, in front of me because you had prasad of the Lord and you didn't give to me. And they're looking, searching for a crumb. And by chance, Narada Muni had one little crumb left on his lip. And that little crumb was enough to pacify Parvati. So when we offer the food, we say, Om Shri Tulsikarnita Narshingadaya Namaha Nevidyam Nevidyami. What does Nevidyam Nevidyami mean? It literally means, please accept this food. But the root of nevidyam is avidya. The root word of nevidyam is avidya. Avidya means ignorance. Vidya is knowledge, divine knowledge. And so when we're offering the nevidyam, we're offering ignorance. Om Pranaya Swaha, Om Apanaya Swaha, Om Vyanaya Swaha, Om Udinaya Swaha, Om Samanaya Swaha. This is the Pancha Prana, the 5 elements. We're offering the 5 elements to the Lord, saying, please accept the 5 elements. Please accept that which binds us to ignorance. Please accept our ignorance. And the Lord is eating our ignorance, our negativity, the Maya, which deludes us. But if he was to eat all of that, which he does, all of that ignorance, what is left? It might look like we've offered some cookies or some bananas or some apples, but no longer are they cookies or bananas or apples. They are something else because the 5 elements have been eaten from them. It might look like it, might smell like it, might taste like it, but it is no longer a fruit or food or soup or whatever we're offering to them. It's not that. It is something else. Because the Maya has been eaten from them. So if Prakriti leaves, what is left? There must be something left because there is no such thing as a void. In all of creation, there's always somebody present. Always something present. What is it? The Lord. And so this prasadam is no longer food from this universe. It is literally the Lord himself because he's taken upon himself all of that negativity. And that's why even we end with Brahmane Swaha. Because even this, my Lord, we give to you. Because even Brahman, you are there. The Pancha Prana, Prakriti, and you are there. We give it all to you. And so when we eat the prasadam, the Lord, he is entering our physical body, entering our mind and our aura. He's entering our chakras, purifying us completely. We can have liberation by only eating prasad. Just eating prasad. That's a good sadhana. It's like, Lord, I take a vow, I only eat prasadam. It's amazing. I'll make you delicious prasad, don't worry, my Lord. Big quantities. So what you can see what's happening when we're offering in the pujas, so much mystical things are happening. When we're offering the incense, we're saying, Lord, please accept our delusions. The things we believe are true but are not true. You know, like the smoke on the incense, it looks like we can grab it, but we can't. So many things we believe to be true, we believe them to be real, but they're not real. When we offer the Deepam, we're offering the Atma Jyoti, the light of our soul. We're offering ourselves. We're saying, Lord, I give you myself. And so what's happening in the puja when we're offering all of these things to the Saligrams, everyone present, it is an offering for everyone, with everyone. It is, we must make that abundantly clear. Because it might appear that they're up there doing their thing, we're down here doing our thing, but it's not like that at all. When the offering is happening, everyone is participating. And so with the prasadam, when that is done, when it's downstairs, do your best to eat as much as you can. Like, get fat, like me, on prasadam. Okay? Because it is the Lord himself. And of course, well, it's also just really nice to offer. That's why, like, you could see constantly with Mom, everybody could offer to Mom. the Saligrams, everybody can offer the Saligrams. When there's the inauguration, everyone went everywhere, isn't it, and offered to everybody. Because traditionally, there's no way whatsoever that any of these guys would be offering, let alone women. That obviously, we are not sexist, we don't think like that, but traditionally, it just would not happen. And you can see how loving Guruji is, how loving Narasinghadev is, that he constantly is breaking the rules for us. Next. Any questions?
More.
More what?
Start all over again.
And actually, the water too, by the way, actually, all of this water that's being collected is hyper blessed. So please, when it's downstairs, please drink some, or even take some and just place it on your head, or take some and bring it home with you. It is full of so much grace. So much grace. It is incomprehensible grace. You can take it home and you can sprinkle it all over your house. It's very beautiful. Bring that grace, the Lord's grace, to your house.
Swami, what is the Leela that brought about shalagrams? How did shalagrams, what is the Leela?
Oh, what is the story? Like where they came from?
Yeah.
Listen. So, Matajis, actually I should say Prabhus. Well, no, you're brahmachari, so you don't know these things. You're also here. But we all know, right? Is that not good? No, she's not. We all know that women can be very sweet, but they also can be very not sweet. They can be the exact opposite. This is why in the Ma temple we have Lakshmi, who is very sweet, very soft. We have Durga, who will protect her children, and we have Kali, who is angry, wild. And this is the fullness of a woman. They're very sweet, very protective, also very wild, isn't it? You all know it. Okay, so Tulsi, 99.999% of the time, to all of her children, she's always sweet, 100% of the time. One time she was not sweet. So basically, you see, Tulsi, she was born from Amrit, a drop of Amrit. And that means when you produce Amrit, which all of you will one day, if you're not already doing it, you produce Amrit when your Kundalini has entered your heart chakra and never drops down anymore. Okay? At this state, all you perceive is love. And you can be considered a saint. Are you realized? No. But because you perceive love everywhere, you see the Lord, you feel the Lord everywhere, you can already be considered a saint. Okay? And then you produce Amrit. And so to produce the Amrit, you must already be pure. So that Tulsi was born from Amrit, a drop of Amrit when Dhanvantari came out of the churning of the oceans, shows that Tulsi is purity itself. Okay? She is sweetness. She is love. She is Shakti. She is Sattva Guna manifested, personified. Okay? And she is wisdom personified. Okay? When she incarnated as Tulasi, she was the daughter of a king who was an incarnation of Yamaraj, of Dharmaraj. Because it's not any normal soul can have Tulsi as their child. But as soon as she could walk, she ran from the palace and she ran to the Himalayas and she began to do tapasya to attain the Lord as her husband. Because all she wanted was the Lord. And for the first 1,000 years, she ate grass and leaves. Next 1,000 years, she ate only dry leaves. And the last 1,000 years, she didn't eat anything. So this beautiful, beautiful, sweet delicate princess became a very intense yogini. And finally, Brahma appeared to her to ask her what she wanted. But at the same time that she incarnated, the Lord also incarnated as a prince, and his name was Jalandhar. And that prince was born in the demon clan, because the Lord is beyond such things. He will incarnate where he needs to do the work he needs to do. Okay, so he was born as a demon prince. But he was, of course, endowed with great divine qualities. So even though he was born as a demon, he was a great man. Because the Lord can never be hidden. And so he's doing also tapasya to attain Tulsi as his wife. Now this is very beautiful because it shows how the Lord reciprocates love. Tulsi incarnated to attain him. He incarnated to attain her. That is how the Lord is with us. How you love him is how he loves you. Okay? It's very important to always remember that. Whenever you think of Tulsi, remember the love relationship that was reciprocated between her and the Lord. So Brahma appears to Jalandhar and says, oh great Jalandhar, like, well, what do you want? Why are you doing so much tapasya? And he said, please give me the grace that I may have Tulsi as my wife. Imagine, the Lord himself prays to Brahma and prays to have the grace to have his bhakta. This is how the Lord thinks. The Lord, when we are here, the Lord is saying, oh, I'm so blessed to be with all of my bhaktas, to be with the people I love. That is how Guruji really thinks. He rarely will show it. Why? Because we'll get arrogant. That's why. But that is how he feels. How happy he is. He's like, wow, I'm so blessed to be with all of the ones I love. That's so sweet. My God. So, Brahma, he smiles and he says, well, she's doing tapasya also to attain you. And they're in Vaikuntha. So let me go see. So he appears to Tulsi. And he says, Tulsi, why is such a beautiful, delicate princess doing so much tapasya? And she says, please give me the grace to have the Lord as my husband. And he says, I give you that grace, tatastu. However, the Lord has also incarnated as an amazing prince, a very dharmic prince, and he's handsome. He has a beautiful jawline, big muscles, and he's been doing tapasya to attain you. But Tulsi, because she had her one point of devotion to Mahavishnu, she's like, I don't care about this Jalandhar. I don't care if he's incarnated. I want Mahavishnu. Right? I'm sure you can also understand. Oh yeah, this Saligram is the shape of a heart. That's true. That's so nice. You can come and show.
Oh, this is sweet.
So sweet. So
Perfect heart.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so you know what's amazing though? There's 3,000 saligrams, and we know. I was like, oh yeah, I know that one, because they're family, and when there's saligrams here, if you can ask Nishkala, there'll be saligrams sitting there, and immediately I walk and say, that's not ours. Whose is that? Oh, that's so and so's, because they're family. It's true. Even with 3,000 saligrams, we can all recognize, oh, that one is someone else's saligram. They're also family, don't get me wrong, but it's clear this is not their home. Their home is somewhere else. It's amazing. Amazing. Like, I'm blind, I can't see. I couldn't see that it's a heart. But I was like, oh yeah, it's the heart one. So anyway, because Brahma gave his word to Jalandhar, and he's looking at Tulsi, and Tulsi, after 3,000 years of tapasya, she of course, understandably, she's like, I don't care about this Jalandhar. I want Srimanarayan. I want to go to Vaikuntha. Like, are you joking me? And of course, it's understandable. But Brahma already gave his word to Jalandhar, so he's like, oh, I gotta work hard on this one. Honestly, I think Brahma would be the best wingman you could ever imagine. Because he's like, I got you, fam. And he's like, okay. And he just started, like, absolutely helping Jalandhar and telling Tulsi how amazing he is. And finally, like, Tulsi's like, oh, okay, maybe I'm interested. So do not worry. He only has eyes for you. He will never be with any other woman. He is a king. You are a queen. What are you doing here in the Himalayas? Spend your life with the one who truly loves you. And then in the end, go be with him again eternally in Vaikuntha. And of course, she's like, well, that's a bit romantic. All right, okay. And he goes, okay, great. And he appears to Jalandhar and says, I got you. And he tells them where they are, or where Tulsi is, and he goes running and finds her. And as a kshatriya, as a warrior, because he's a prince, they have kshatriya marriage. And what is that? They had sex. But that's very important to understand for later. Okay? So they were married in that moment. Okay? That's a kshatriya marriage. Jalandhar never had eyes for any other woman his entire life. And every morning when he would wake up, he would purposely wake up earlier than Tulsi to wake her up sweetly and by serenading her with all of her glories. Okay? Raj, remember this. Be like Jalandhar. One day when you have your wife, you must wake up earlier than her, and then you will sing her glories as she slowly wakes up. Okay? Of course, I mean, it's amazing. Okay, so so funny. So of course, Tulsi, she never even touched another man. Even her own father had never even touched her. So this was part of her Shakti, part of her tapasya, this vow to never touch another man, created a bunch of energy, okay, inside of her. And because of her purity, that she was the most humble one. There's a reason Tulsi is there, okay? That Tulsi's on the side. She's not on the altar, where I absolutely want her to be. The reason is she's too humble. There's a reason why she's in the back in SPN or in all of the temples. She's not on the altar. She is down here with the people. The reason is because she's like, look, it's fine. Well, I don't know. I'm just your mother. Don't put me up there. No, I help you attain the Lord. She doesn't want to be on the altar. And when Guruji was deciding where all of the murtis who would be here, other than Narasimha, obviously, he chose Lakshmi and Ramanuja Babaji, Rukmini Paduranga, and then he was quiet. And then I said, Gurudev, can we please have Tulsi? And he smiled and he said, yes, you may have your Tulsi. And Swami Revati said, oh, nice, she'll be on the altar with Narshingadev. And Guruji said, no, she will be on the side. She does not want to be on the altar. Because she's so humble. She has the love of the Lord where she is shy. She loves the Lord so much that it's embarrassing to her. And she's just happy to bless her babies and bring them to the Lord. She would be totally fine that we never even speak of her, that no one even knows she's there. She doesn't care. Such humility Tulsi has. So this purity, of course, made her prayers be answered. without condition. And so, eventually, Jalandhar, as a king, he had to go to war. And his guru, who was his guru? Shukaracharya. Shukaracharya is the guru of the demons. And slowly, over time, he poisoned the mind of Jalandhar. And he was like, you need to go take over the Devas. They're the mortal enemies. They're always making fun of all of the demons, all of us. You need to go take them over. And Jalandhar finally was like, you know what, you're right. Let's do this. And so he tells Tulsi that they're going to war, and she prays to Mahavishnu, to her Murti, and she says, Lord, please bring my husband back safe, unharmed. And she takes the garland off of Mahavishnu, gives it to Jalandhar, and says, never take this off. And by the love of Tulsi, this garland never became dry, was always fresh. And of course, he goes to war with the Devas, and he demolishes them. Why? Because of Tulsi's blessing, because of her prayer. Mahavishnu said, yes, I will bring Jalandhar back unharmed, so no one could touch him. He couldn't even get one little scratch on him. Impossible. And he comes back to the palace after many long years at war, and Tulsi's very happy, and he brings all of the Devas, and he says, they are now my servants. And he brings all of the Devis from Indralok, and he says, these are your maidservants. And you know what she says? She says, how dare you ever treat a woman in such a way? Send them home. They will never be my servants. And he begs them for forgiveness, or Tulsi begs all of the Devis for forgiveness. And of course, Jalandhar, loving Tulsi so much, was so ashamed by how he acted. And he said, yes, I'm sorry. He begged for their forgiveness, and he sent them home. But the men, something else. No, they are slaves. So they stayed. And of course, all of the Devis and the Devas, Indra and Suryadev and Chandradev, all of them were praying to be liberated from their captivity. And who did they pray to? Obviously, Brahma. Because you always pray to Brahma. But Brahma said, look, there's nothing I can do. He has the blessing of Mahavishnu, and I don't know what to say. He's the blessing of my Lord. There's nothing I can do. You must pray to Shiva. So they start to pray to Shiva. And Shiva's like, who is this Jalandhar idiot? Like, who is this guy? I don't even know this guy. Whatever, yeah. And he sends his armies. And of course, Jalandhar hears of the armies of coming from Mount Kailash, and he turns to Tulsi and says, I must go to war. And again she prays to Mahavishnu, please bring my husband back unharmed, takes the garland off of her murti, gives it to Jalandhar. She bows to him and he leaves. And of course he goes to war, and he can't even get a scratch on him. And the armies of Mahadev come back utterly defeated. And now Shiva's like really confused, and he's like, who is this Jalandhar who could beat my army? It's fine. And he took out of his jata, the dreads, and he created Kali from his dreads, and he sent Muruga, and he said, you two, go kill this Jalandhar. Even Kali, even Muruga could not touch Jalandhar because of Tulsi's grace, because of her prayers, because of her purity. So they come back defeated. And now Mahadev is really annoyed. He's like, who's this stupid Jalandhar? I go to battle myself. And he grabbed his trident, and in that moment Mahavishnu appeared. Because you must understand it, Mahadev is the opposite side of the coin of Mahavishnu. So Mahadev has the power to destroy Jalandhar. But if he did that, he would break the blessing of Mahavishnu, and the entire universe would start to dissolve. And so Mahavishnu appears to him and he says, please wait one night. And tomorrow, when you see Jalandhar, ask him to take off the garland. And out of his arrogance, he will take it off. Because by this time, Jalandhar forgot about Tulsi's prayers. And he believed it was his power, his strength that made him invincible. And so that night, Mahavishnu takes the form of Jalandhar and comes and appears in their bedroom. And of course, she's so excited. It's been years since she's seen her husband. So she doesn't think anything of it, and they spend a beautiful night together. And what happens? They have marriage. Kshatriya marriage. You understand? Okay? So now she is married to another man. But she's unaware of it. But now Mahavishnu gets out of bed and just leaves the bed. But Jalandhar, in all of the many years of them together, have never done this. And in this moment, she realized this is not her husband. And she sat up in fury and she said, "How dare you? Who are you? How dare you take the form of my husband and spend the night with me? Turn around and show me your true form." And Mahavishnu turns around, the Chaturbhuja, the four arms. And of course, this is the form she's been praying to her entire life. But in this moment, she understood what Mahavishnu was doing, that now her husband was going to die. And so she was so angry, and she cursed him. She said, "As your heart is as cold as stone, I curse you to be stone." And Mahavishnu, of course, being the Lord, he didn't need to take such a curse. But he was in pain that Tulsi was in pain. Because the truth is, we are not victims. We like to think that we're victims. Why does all this stuff happen to us? All these bad things, all these people treat us bad. But why did it happen to us? Because we deserved it. It's karma. But Tulsi is the one who was truly pure. She was truly a victim of Jalandhar's arrogance. She did not need to have any sorrow. This was not her problem, not her fault. She just loved her husband. She just loved the Lord. But in this moment, she was suffering not by her karma, but by the karma of her husband. And that's why the Lord turned to stone. But if you know the story of the churning of the oceans, Lakshmi came out of the ocean. And so Lakshmi is Tulsi's older sister. And so Lakshmi appeared, dressed in white as a widow. And Tulsi looked at her sister and realized that her sister was feeling the same. That her husband is now gone. And so she begged her sister for forgiveness, and she took back the curse. And so the Lord came back to life. And she looked at the Lord and she said, "There's nothing left for me here." So the last bit of her Shakti, she burnt herself to ash to be with her husband in Vaikuntha, and she merged with Srimanade. But the Lord was still so sad that his bhakta had to suffer. So he asked her, "Please, will you incarnate as a basil plant? Because everyone can take care of a plant." Because so your love and your purity so that your love and your purity can bless everyone. Just by seeing you, they may enter Vaikuntha. Just by seeing you, let alone taking care of you. And of course, Tulsi, being the most sweet, absolutely understood. She was so happy to be with all of her children. She is the queen. She is the wife of the Lord. She is the queen of this universe. And yet she incarnates as a plant. She happily comes from dirt. Imagine her humility. And of course, all of the devas were so sad that the Lord was sad. They were so sad that Tulsi had suffered because of them. If they hadn't prayed to be liberated, Tulsi would still be alive. Because they knew that Tulsi respected them, that Tulsi loved them. that Tulsi stood up to her husband for all of their wives. And so they bowed down to the first Tulsi plant and they gave her all of their Shakti. So that's why when the Mula mantra of Tulsi is Om Yan Mali Savritani Yanma Desa the Devata Yada Grace Vedascha Tulsi Namha Om Yan Mali Savritani. This means in the roots of Tulsi all of the holy rivers are present. So if you have a Tulsi at home, whenever you leave the house, take a little bit of the dirt and place it on your head. And the grace of all of the holy rivers throughout the world will be with you, protecting you of all negativity. In your branches, all of the devas exist. Within the leaves, the divine knowledge, prema, Atmanavedan Bhakti is present. To this Tulsi I bow. Whatever you ask for from her, she will give you, because she has the power to do it. And this is deeply symbolic of the Bhakta. The Devas give themselves to the Bhakta. That's why we run to the Bhakta for their blessings and their grace. Because they have given themselves to the Lord, and the Lord has given themselves to them. And of course, all the Devas serve the Lord. And so all of the Devas are present wherever any saint is. It is said in the Shastra that no negativity can be present where Tulsi is present. That's why we wear Kunti malas. We wear Tulsi because where she is, the negativity runs. And I asked Guruji, is this true? And he looked at me and he said, yes. Where there is Tulsi, even the devil himself runs. That is the power of the Divine Mother. And so in this story, finally, after all of the Devas gave their grace, the Lord looked upon this first Tulsi plant and he said, I will incarnate as the Saligram, so that I can be placed underneath you. So the Saligram is the Mahavishnu counterpart of Tulsi. They go together. This is why in Tulsi Vivaha we marry the Saligram with the Tulsi plant, because it's a remembrance of the sacrifice that Tulsi gave. It's a remembrance of the relationship between the Lord, that when his bhakta suffers, he suffers. That when we long for him, he longs for us. And he lives with us. Tulsi becomes a plant, he becomes a stone. Tulsi is humble, he is humble. Tulsi runs to this world to incarnate. She is Swayambhu. The Lord runs to this world to incarnate as Swayambhu Saligram. So whenever you see Tulsi, whenever you see the Saligrams, remember it's a remembrance of how the soul is, how the jiva is with Bhagavan. This beautiful divine relationship each one of us have with the Lord. And that's why I'm so grateful for this temple. Because if you look at each one we have here, Gurudev, Lakshmi, Ramanujacharya, Mavatar Babaji, Rukmini Panduranga, Tulsi, and Narashingadev, and all of the 3,000 Saligrams, they represent the same thing. The running of God to the Bhakta. How they run to us. Gurudev, he runs all over the world to be with us. It's crazy. He's running to his bhaktas. What great saint like Guruji does that? They don't do it. They have their bhaktas come to them, and it makes sense, because then we appreciate to be with the Guru when we have to run to be with him or with her. But Guruji, he is so sweet. He's like, it's fine. I want to be with you. I love you. I run to you. Lakshmi, as the Supreme Mother, she's always running to her bhaktas. There's a reason why she has to have Kubera with her. Because Kubera is the baker. He's the financial, he's the CFO of Vaikuntha, okay? He's the financial guy. Because Lakshmi, you see in her hand there, you see the little gold coins. Her hand is not up like this, okay? This is Abhaya Mudra. Abhaya Mudra means wait. In the right time, everything will be okay. Just be patient, okay? Have no fear. In the right time, everything will be okay. But her hand is down in Varada Mudra. This is the blessing of no discrimination. Just give. You're my children. I love you. You're my babies. I give you everything. You see? And that's why she needs Kubera, because Kubera goes, yo, wait, Mata. I don't think they can handle all the grace you want to give them. It won't be good for them. So I will manage, okay? That's why she has Kubera, because she would give everything. And in her other hand, you see there's this stick there? That's actually the top part of the mace, of the gada. This is a very unique form of Lakshmi. Look on the internet, look for another form of Lakshmi that is holding the gada. Very rare. Because she not only will give us all the positivity, but just like the little mother, she will be there also to protect us, to beat away all of the negativity. So on one hand, she's the sweetest, on the other hand, she's protecting us. Ramanujacharya, he's Adishesha, he's Nitya Suri. He is never been bound by Maya. And yet, he agreed to incarnate as Ramanujacharya and bring bhakti back to the world. He traveled all over India to bring bhakti back to the world. Madhakar Babaji, he is the Lord incarnate. And he does not need to stay in this world, and yet he's given his word. He's 5,000 years old, and he's given his word. He will not leave this planet until every soul is liberated. Panduranga, he is the one who serves. He's the one who takes care. He's the one who serves the devotee. Tulsi, we just talked so much about her. She's the sweetest, the one who will give everything. I implore you, ask Tulsi, please give me bhakti. Please give me bhakti for the Lord. Tulsi will do it. Without question. No discrimination. She will give it. And finally there's Parvati Nrsingadev, who Nrsingadev himself, out of all the Dashavatars, is the one who surrenders to the devotee the fastest. He appears to be the most angry, but actually he is the sweetest and most merciful. And Parvati Nrsingadev himself transversed the cosmos from Vaikuntha to here to be with us. And all of the 3,000 saligrams, each and every saligram, when they're fossils, they're millions of years old, and they waited in the Gandaki River in Nepal, waited to come here. To come here. They have chosen to come here. They have a will of their own. We say, someone bought them and brought them here. No, not like that. If they do not want to come here, they do not come here. And when they want to come here, they will find a way. For example, there's this beautiful shaligram that's carved like baby Krishna sucking his toe on the peepal leaf. Yeah, it's a story about Markandeya. It's a different story, but anyways, it's about this Leela of Krishna and Markandeya. And the saligram was in the house of a person, a follower of Guruji, who passed away a few months ago. And he lived in New York City. And just loved stones and crystals. His whole house was like full of thousands of crystals. And many, many, many years ago, he was in India, and someone gave him the Saligram. He never knew what it was. For him, it was just a nice carved rock. He's like, that's nice, and he just kept it. And I was in New York City a couple of years ago, and I brought a Saligram, and we were telling everybody about this Saligram, and he goes, oh, I have one of those. And of course, I'm going to be honest, I didn't believe him. I was like, I don't think you quite understand what this is, but I didn't say that. Of course I'm nice. I was like, oh, that's nice. I was wrong. Because when he passed away, his friends went into his house because he was single, and they went and collected everything, and was sorting everything out, and they grabbed a bunch of the crystals and a bunch of the stones, and they brought them to like a meditation center they all go to, and they all had a memorial about him. He was a very sweet guy. And they had many stones out on a table, and everyone could go grab a crystal or a stone to remember him by. And so a few weeks later, I went to this meditation studio, and I asked how the memorial was, and they said, oh, they were showing me pictures on the phone. And out of all of these hundreds of crystals, there's this one black dot. And without thinking, my fingers go zoom in, and I say, where is that? Who has that? And they say, oh yeah, there's this one black stone. I think it's still here. I said, show me right now. And it was now buried in the boxes, and we go and find this Saligram. This Saligram transversed decades ago from the Gandaki River to someone in Nepal, to this man in New York City, stayed sitting on his shelf, being dusty, waited for him to leave his body, to be collected. No one knew what it was. By chance, no one grabbed it, even though it was by far the prettiest one. Maybe I'm biased, but okay. And to be brought here. Each and every Saligram has their own will, their own desire. And they have run from Nepal to come here. So this temple absolutely represents the running of God to us, and how much the Lord, in the form of Narshingire, the Saligram, Ma, Tulsi, Rukmini Pandaringa, the Gurus, how they run to us and protect us and guide us and uplift us and bring us to the Lord. How they will do everything for us. Everything for us. We just must let them. That is it. That's what this temple represents, and that's what Tulsi represents, and that's what the Saligram represents. Good day.
Thank you. Thank you. Good day.